There was a new Ashes of Creation livestream and the mage was shown to us, and I'm super curious about the skills of the mage and what they've done to the mage. Let's have a look.
Hey, what up, boys? It's that time again. Time for another generic pre-recorded intro that has absolutely no idea what we're about to see, but remains vaguely informed.
Let's see if it's as cool as the cleric. The cleric is so cool. I can release
this video before Asmongold reacts to it live on stream and then uploads that as a straight recording, tanking the only video that's actually relevant on my channel every month.
Wow.
But before we get into that, our patrons and I would love for you to grab yourself a
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, because the Mage Archetype is finally revealed to us today,
Perfect.
alongside some pretty interesting insight to the game's combat and many other things, including
mage gameplay, incredible visual effects,
and of course,
amazing technical feats.
Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we? We'll skip the reminders and the studio update this month because it wasn't very interesting. It was just outlining some hires and milestones that don't really mean much from our viewer perspective.
Can we actually specialize in an element?
Like, I don't know, maybe so
fire,
we can give ourselves an extra couple of
ice.
minutes to highlight what was showcased. And oh boy, was it a lot to take in. A huge improvement over the presentation during January's Tank Showcase. This time around, they approached it differently by taking the time to show off each of the abilities in an isolated scenario so we can really understand the mechanics going into it. The first on our list was a very popular mage mobility spell called a Blink, instantly moving the player forward with a very visually appealing effect, like jumping through a void portal. Interestingly, this was one of the spells that were...
I actually love those kind of skills in also like freaking PvP. Like, I do crazy stuff with teleportation skills. Like, I remember, same with, like, for example, on the Nightblade in ESO, like, you have this one shadow you can teleport to, and you have, like, a certain distance, so you get from A to B in, like, a matter of a second, right? And I use this always to relocate in PvP and save my behind from dying. And sometimes I even use this kind of skill for the offense, so I know, like, in front of me, like, not too far. Or same with like the sorcerer, because you can do the same with the sorcerer in ESO, for example. Like, you can do it with Nightblade, with the Shade, with the sorcerer. You can do this also with Streak. And what I do is, like, I sometimes will even use this kind of skill offensively if I see like there's a target on low health, but I'm pretty far from it. So I just press this, I get into range, and I just 1 or 2 shot this person. Like, Blink, like, this kind of skill is so much fun in PvP. I don't see much use in PvE really, but this is like one of the coolest PvP skills, because you can use it offensively to focus a target that's a bit more far from you, that is low health, or use this to actually save yourself if you are low health and you need to get behind a wall or pillar to heal up, or use potion or whatever. Or just to get pressure off of you.
Very popular mage mobility spell called a Blink, instantly moving the player forward with a very visually appealing
effect. You also have this on the Warlock with
jumping
the
through a void
portals.
portal. Interestingly, this was one of the spells that were present during Alpha 1, so it was great to see it return for the beautiful UE5 visuals and additional polish. The next spell on our list was Shell, another basic mage utility that can be used in clutch situations for some extra.
But what's the size of it? It doesn't say what size.
Not really much to comment on here, so I'm basically just talking long enough for you guys to read the tooltip I have on the screen for you. Now, moving forward, all the spells we see have their cooldowns disabled for demonstration purposes.
Looks nice,
so the abilities being spammed in a moment is not a representation of the actual gameplay. With that said, our first damage spell is Ball Lightning, a slow-moving skill shot projectile that can be used in a plethora of ways for area denial, burst DPS, or just straight up a part of your general AOE rotation, as will be demonstrated towards the end when we see some actual practical combat scenarios. Continuing the theme of AOE, our next 3 abilities are all focused around AOE, starting with 2 classics, Cone of Cold and Blizzard. Both of these actually
I love the way those ice spikes look like
closely, and you can see the clear inspiration here, especially with Cone of Cold.
I see like a lot of inspiration here. This is crazy. So we have like at least now 3 skills so far that are also in WoW. And Cone of Cold, has a different animation. If you use this kind of Cone of Cold in freaking WoW, it's icy wind. You actually shoot in a cone in front of you, right? And here it's just spikes on the ground. But it's literally kind of the same, because let me guess, this also slows the enemy, right? Yeah, I mean, chilled, I guess, wait. They're applying a stack of chilled. So I guess chilled makes targets slower, right? So yeah, it basically does the same. And the shield we saw earlier, it looks like the shield, let's actually go back there. We are now at 259, and it was at, where was the shield? Oh, here. This is the same like you get on the Arcane Mage in WoW. You also have this sort of shell. Yeah, it literally looks like the Arcane Mage version in WoW.
With Cone of Cold.
Yeah, that was some
Blizzard
inspiration
functions
here.
ever so slightly differently, as it's actually an AoE around the mage instead of one that you place with your mouse. Additionally, you'll notice that most, if not all, of these spells are actually castable whilst moving, which is a huge difference between the Cleric Showcase we saw in November and likely due to the mage's more inherent training with magic, allowing them to move, albeit at a slightly slower pace, whilst casting at the same time. The next AoE ability is probably the most visually appealing animation and spell effect we've ever seen in this game so far.
Wow!
Chain Lightning. I really enjoyed the casting
animation. That's like from freaking Star Wars.
It kind of made it look like the impact was in slow motion. Really impressive work there, Intrepid.
Wow,
and
that's a cool animation.
This is the worst state the spell of.
I like how you're kind of like flying. Like you're like above the ground a little bit, right? And it's like you're pulling out the energy of the earth around you or something, right? And then you freaking shoot it in a Emperor Palpatine kind of fashion of Star Wars or something. Like you're some sort of Sith Lord. I freaking love the way the animation looks. It looks kind of cool how you're like, kind of like pulling it out of the ground, the electricity, right? And then you just shoot it at your target. This looks so cool. And Chain Lightning, so of course this is freaking AoE
effects will ever be in. This is just the first or second visual pass, and many more to come. It only goes up.
I want to play a cleric, and I'm not sure if I want to play a mage.
Interesting interaction with this Chain Lightning in particular, demonstrating the core technology behind Ashes of Creation spells, allowing the lightning to traverse around objects in the open world, bypassing line of sight and stuff like that. Really impressed with this one, and I can't wait to
That's actually cool because it does some sort of curve, right? So it's not the animation goes through the rock, but it actually goes around it. So there's some sort of obstacle detection with this skill. How did they make this possible? This is like some modern technology we are seeing right here. Like I've seen skills in like quite like a lot of games where if there's like some obstacle, it's like a minor obstacle where there's some sort of glitch, right? And the skill goes through partially through an obstacle. Like even if it's just a corner, it like slightly goes through or something. But here it actually goes around the object to hit the target. Yo, this is some new gen technology going on here. Holy shit. And yeah, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. And this is so freaking cool. I love it.
Really impressed with this one, and I can't wait to see what you have planned for us in the future. This next spell, although it is still technically
giant,
AoE, isn't actually
carnivore's
a damage
flower,
spell. This is the first soft CC ability that we see in Ashes of Creation, putting mobs to sleep in a similar fashion to the Mage's Sheep in WoW. It doesn't seem like it restores their HP though, even though it would make sense considering they're asleep. But the caveat to that is that it's on a 30-second cooldown, so it seems pretty balanced. Right, guys? Our next three spells are the Mage's single target focused ones, starting with Lightning Strike, a short cast time debuff stacking ability that demonstrates Ashes of Creation's interesting debuff combo mechanics. As you can see, when the lightning bolt stack reaches 10, the debuff promotes to a tier 2 debuff that allows you to combo off various other abilities, similar to what we saw during the tank and cleric showcases where they were knocking the mobs down.
So you want to keep the stacks up.
Another very World of Warcraft inspired ability, does a similar effect with the chilled debuff, allowing you to freeze a mob after X amount of stacks are reached and then shattering them for massive damage.
Ooh, this is so cool. So you can also stack up here just like we saw with the lightning strike here. And when we stack it up, we can do some sort of like burst attack. Yo, this is very cool. But yeah, I feel like the mage type is already pretty established in like the MMO genre, right? So of course we see a lot of stuff that we have seen in WoW, and say with like some, even like this lightning strike kind of reminds me almost to like Elder Scrolls Online, because you actually have also there a similar skill, right? Except that in ESO it's an actual finisher skill, so if targets are low health they take super extra damage. But I feel like design wise, when you make a mage now in a modern MMO, like it's always going to be some sort of copy paste, because I don't think you can make a mage, or maybe with like super much effort, that is different from any other MMO, right? So that's why we see a lot of repetitive skills. But what they did with like the Blizzard, because in WoW you actually do this in front of you somewhere and you're not stuck in some sort of flying animation, right? But here they made it where it's like around you, there's like this nice eye symbol on the ground, right? And you're kind of like floating and you are like channeling it. So there is like a lot of uniqueness as well, but a lot looks like copy paste. But I don't think this was done intentionally, where they wanted to copy paste WoW, but it's because like mage classes in MMOs are already reused basically, right? The design like over and over again. So you always will find some similarities in an MMO when it comes to the mage class, in my opinion.
And then shattering them for massive damage. It's great to see the team focused on in-depth mechanics
the
for us to
animations
really
look
enjoy when
different,
the
so
Alpha
it's,
2 comes in 2077. Finally, our last single target ability before we take a look at another
Arcane
interesting
Volley?
mechanic for the mage is called Arcane Volley. What is this? World of Warcraft 2?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, China already did that. This is a two-charge
China already did
fast-casting
that.
ability that,
True.
if I'm not mistaken, doesn't really do that much apart from damage. However, it actually interacts with our final ability, Elemental Empowerment.
What's that?
Now, this can be interpreted to be the mage's actual class mechanic, as it's a toggleable ability that empowers all weapon attacks.
1 second, let me read this. Whenever you cast an elemental spell, your weapon attacks deal additional damage of that spell's element. Wow, okay. And apply a stack of corresponding elemental status effects to the target. So is it the same, like, okay, so you can also stack up something with that, and then you get like a bonus or something where you can burst? Casting a spell of a different element switches this effect to the new element. But does this remove the stacks? Because you apply a stack of the corresponding elemental. But if you cast like a different element, is this reset or does this stay? Because it doesn't really say that here, right? Because it doesn't say it starts from 0 again.
Can be interpreted to be the mage's actual class mechanic, as it's a
cool.
toggleable ability that empowers all weapon attacks with the last element used, applying additional stacks of these debuffs for you to weave in between your spells for maximum damage or utility. A really great spell, and I think the implications of this one in particular are very interesting, as it's not specific to just the one.
That's a cool
It affects
mount.
all weapons the mages equip, including a greatsword, which we'll take a look at
I love
now
the way
with
flying
a
looks in
demonstration
Ashes
of
of
the
Creation.
mage's AOE abilities in a realistic situation. Instead of commenting over the single target and AOE demonstrations, I will just let the game do its thing, because the sound design is also amazing to go alongside
let's
the
listen to it.
visuals.
And now, Keenan, talk to us a little bit about kind of the process that goes into creating
sounds all
these,
right.
You know, class kits for Alpha 2.
It's a bit
Your
silent,
strike
but
team has
I think I
been
can
hard
hear
at
it. It
work
sounds
in
nice.
Kind of developing phase 1 and phase 2 of these. What exactly goes into those phases?
Well,
Wow.
it's pretty much a 3-phase process. Phase 1 is very open-ended. We pretty much try everything under the sun, and we put it together in every way we can imagine, and we try to figure out what we like and don't like and iterate fast.
Whoa, what was that? What that mob
Usually
did?
playables like
That
twice a
looked
week
cool,
when
this
we're in that
attack
phase.
with the rocks.
What you guys are seeing here is actually abilities that are in the process of passing
Ball
phase
lightning's
2.
OP.
So they are approaching levels that
Yeah,
where
look,
we
he's
are
a bit
happy with how
slower,
they
so yeah,
play,
it does
happy with how they look,
make targets slower.
Some details may change over time, but generally speaking, this is what we're going
Oh, he's
for.
faster
and
again?
From here, it would mostly just be like polish and assets and just getting like external feedback and stuff like that.
Very nice. Trad, I liked your use of slumber there. You're in a precarious spot.
Boom.
Oh god. Oh my god.
Yeah, you see this like with a blink. This is good in PvP, like duels and stuff.
Turn into ash. Oh god.
Oh, he's almost dead.
Oh my god.
With 87 health.
That's something that's
Holy
also
shit.
really important for us.
1,000 health down to 87.
When you guys are iterating so quickly, you know, we want to make sure that the systems that are using that animation to really drive the effects
Wow.
don't break
It's actually
every
good AOE
4
damage.
days because you guys decided to change
But
it
he's
up.
undergeared, I
We really
think.
want
He
to
loses
only
too much
address
HP.
changes for, you know, major differences in how the ability functions.
And what a display indeed. This recording obviously doesn't do it justice due to Twitch's bitrate issues, so in the 4K YouTube
One thing's interesting. He has like a 2H sword, right? So if you're a mage, you can actually use melee weapons like swords and stuff. I actually thought you would like have staffs or something, right? But he's not using a staff, he's using a 2H sword. That's fascinating. It's almost like playing a hybrid, like you're a warrior, but at the same time a mage.
video is uploaded, I will link that for you
It's
guys
just the
to
weapon
watch
he's
the
holding,
whole
I guess. You
showcase
could
up
change
here
it,
in the
right?
top corner. It's worth noting here towards the end that there are also fire and earth spells present for the mage. However, they were not ready from a visual quality
Fire and
standpoint.
earth?
They did ensure us that
Fire
we will be
spells will be
seeing them
fun.
sometime in the future. Likely, maybe,
I love
if
Fire
we're
Mage
lucky,
in
with the
MMOs.
Cyclops showcase next
To play
month.
one.
As for feedback, the team are looking for 3 main topics of discussion: the player agency and how you feel about the mobility and spell casting in comparison to the cleric, the spell animation transitions
the
and how they
mobility.
look from a quality point of view, and finally, are you pleased with how fleshed out and complicated the kit and synergy systems look? I will of course be following this video up with a pretty in-depth
Here we are holding a
feedback video,
wand.
so you guys can look forward to some spicy takes from a guy who's never played a mage in his entire life because he exclusively plays
Wow, you haven't?
picking flowers 18
You should
hours a
try
day.
one.
Whew.
They are so fun.
Now, I won't
love
bother
playing mages in
transitioning because the
MMOs.
artwork update today was fairly short
Even
and
in WoW,
pale in
mage is
comparison
fun.
to this incredible mage showcase. But I do enjoy seeing the armor sets because it lets us visualize how they will be utilized in-game as NPC factions. The first on display was some skeletal weapons to go with our
on an
graveyard
orc.
dwellers from the November showcase, and of course for us when we eventually
They're not
whipped to
called
bones
orcs,
waiting
but
for
what's
this
this
game
race
to
called
release.
again?
Next we got a nice showcase of the Featherstone Expedition Pack, demonstrating how these back slots can utilize additional accessories for player customization. Then we got
Fascinating.
2 NPC armor sets, the Ward of the Implacable and God Singer's
Looks nice,
Garb.
actually.
Very interesting names and a very massive contrast between the two. I'm not entirely
looks like a
sure
fortune
where
teller
these would be
outfit.
placed, so there's more areas of mystery
Look into your
present in
future.
the Alpha 2.
You will
And
have
finally,
luck tomorrow.
We got a slight tease for some upcoming freehold and animal
Cow.
husbandry potentials with some livestock.
Wait,
some
what?
variations on cows,
Really?
which lagged at the time of the live stream because Twitch was shitting a brick. Sorry about that. And some interestingly designed sheep. I genuinely
What kind of creature is this? Is that like a devil sheep or what? Like, look at those hordes. Like, what the heck are they doing with these sheep? But I love actually the way the wool looks like, right? Like, it looks so detailed. Like, we can see a single pieces here and stuff, right? Is it going to have such good, wow. But I actually think this will cause lag in the world, right? If you have like, I actually read about this somewhere. When it comes to like game development, you have to be careful, and that's why sometimes they are careful to not make the grass too small. Because if you have like super small grass, that actually it makes like loading the world slower because you have more elements in it, right? So sometimes it's better to have a bit less of something and make it a bit bigger to fill it up, right? Than to have like small thingies. And here, if you look at like the texture and everything, and how you have like these little wool strings, if you can call them that there, right? So I think this will does that make the game more laggy if you have too many like smaller elements and stuff? So I read about it. That's why in like a lot of MMOs the grass is so big and you have like fewer grass but bigger grass, right? I don't know.
really cannot wait to see them being utilized in game.
Same with leaves. Like if trees have too many leaves,
pretty much
this can also be a
everything
problem.
from this month's live stream. And wow, they actually showed us a lot of great things with the combat direction this month. Probably. The desperation is getting pretty intense for this game, and I'm really looking forward to breaking down this 40 or so minutes worth of content into 15 painstakingly dull videos throughout the next month as we lead ourselves into that long-awaited world boss Cyclops reveal.
World
As
boss
usual,
Cyclops?
I want to thank my patrons. Without
Wow.
your support, this balding middle-aged man wouldn't be able to live his dream. of talking shit on the internet. If you've made it to the end of this video, chances are you're utterly brain dead. So why not go ahead and join that 90%
I'm not brain dead, I'm
absolute
fascinated
giga-chads,
actually, even more now
sucking in
about
the
the
good
game.
stuff, and I'll see you in the next one because
You're high on copium. I love when he says that at the end. But yeah, I love the mage in Ashes of Creation, and this is the issue for me now. I love the cleric. I wanted to play one because you have some sort of support role as well, right? It's kind of cool. But now the mage looks so nice that I want to play a mage. I have no clue what I want to play. I will definitely have like multiple characters, of course, and I will try out everything. But what will I main? This is really tough for me now. I think at the top now for me is definitely the mage with the cleric. Probably one of those two. But the archer looks also not too horrible, but I'm really in love with the animations on the mage. I think they look so cool. And I love how you have a bit of a more complex rotation, so maybe the skill ceiling for this archetype is very, very high. It's probably going to be... It looks not as complex as it is, for example, in WoW, because in WoW, like I actually find mage in WoW a bit difficult to play. And let me tell you why. So you have not only to wait for certain procs until you use a certain skill, but you have like certain cooldowns and phases where you have to actually use those cooldowns in, and you can't use those cooldowns in the same time window because you're ruining your other phase. So you have a phase with this cooldown, then you have a phase with this cooldown, you want to wait for this proc. So I feel like mage in WoW is really complex. Here it looks actually a bit simpler, but still complex, so it's a very appealing class to me that I want to play. And yeah, even the sounds were pretty nice. I love how, even though it is kind of like copy-paste from WoW, but then again, like I said, the mage fantasy and like how you play a mage in MMOs is already so well established over multiple MMOs that it's kind of hard to come up with something new, right? So I'm not blaming Intrepid Studios here for being a little copy-paste, because I feel like everyone these days is copy-paste, because the mage has just been out there in MMOs for so long that they all become more and more similar, because there is just always something that you have to take in order to be cool, right? But yeah, mage looks really fun and cool to me. I would definitely play one. Let me know in the comment sections if you would play one. It looks also something like a lot of fun in PvP, especially with blink, reposition or focus targets on low health. I'm gonna do that for sure on it. But yeah, if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.